Hi there, my name's Owen. Today we're going to be doing some yin yoga with the option for several props to be used to open through the lower body, predominantly in the hips. So we'll get into a comfortable seated position, slowing our breath down, allowing soft inhales and exhales in and out through the nose. And we'll try to use this throughout our session, bringing focus to that nice, slow and steady nasal breath. And just begin to blink the eyes open. We have the option today to use some bricks. You could use a block. We've also got the option for a bolster. But any of these optional elements today could well be books, they could be magazines, pillows, blankets. They don't have to be official yoga props to be beneficial and supportive. And then we're going to set ourselves up for our half butterfly pose. To achieve this, we can bend in the knees if we're tight in the hamstrings, have any sciatic pain, possibly bring in blocks underneath the calves or underneath the knees. We could sit higher to soften in the hip crease, on a block, on a pillow, on a bolster. Try not to round through the spine, try to sit up tall. That prop beneath the hips can really help there. So just begin to draw that right leg in, keep the left leg straight. You can allow the right knee to fall out to the side with or without a prop beneath the thigh or the knee. Possibly go in without any support at all. Looking down the left leg. Sitting up tall, we can inhale those hands up above the head. Exhale to tilt the pelvis forward, draping down towards that left foot. Hands could be on the thigh, they could be on the shin, they could be on the ankle or the foot. Try not to push or pull with the hands. Rounding lightly through the spine once we've got to our maximum level through the pelvis tilt. Chin can come to chest, taking a nice slow exhale, relaxing the hands out to the sides of the leg, framing that left leg. We don't need to push and pull in a yin pose. As a reminder that for those that are maybe newer to yin yoga, we're trying to get to 80% of our maximum and hold poses for longer durations. So if we can touch our toes but we're straining down, for yin we'll be better off going a little bit lighter. So that could mean that the hands end up on the shin. If we can touch the shin but we're straining, they could be on the thigh. And if we're struggling with the hands on the thigh tilting forwards in the hips, just sitting upright might be enough for us today. Trying to resist the urge to force. Let time do the work as opposed to physical strain. This can be so hard to do. Allowing ourselves to just sit there, allow things to just unfold as they do, not straining and forcing for something. Just trying to find contentment with where we are. Within yoga philosophy, this refers to santosha. Santosha can directly mean contentment, and it can allow us to enjoy our practice more as we don't strain and force to go beyond what is feasible for us on any given day. This can work off of the mat as well as on it and make a really big difference to our practice. So try and practice santosha today, being content with where you are in each pose, comparing each side, and being happy with where we are, just here on the mat. In just a second, we're going to come out of our half butterfly pose, so we can bring our fingers to the outside of the front leg, slowly helping our way back up, sitting up tall. That right hand can come to the outside of the right knee or thigh, helping the knee up. Extending through the right leg, having a bit of a shake through both legs, a bit of a bounce in the knees for the hamstrings. Then we can stay facing the front of the mat. I'm just going to spin around for clarity. Make it a little bit easier to see. Keeping that right leg straight this time and checking, are we sitting up tall? If we need to here, we can place a block beneath the hips, having a brick to hand possibly. As we bend that left leg, bringing the foot to the inside of the right thigh, letting the knee fall out to the side, with or without support beneath the thigh or the knee. Making sure that we're supporting where necessary. Looking down that right leg, trying to elongate the spine forwards as opposed to rounding down. Tilting over that right leg. The hands can come again to the thigh, the shins, the ankle, or the foot itself. Resisting that urge to pull. Take a nice inhale, and on the exhale just relax those hands down, draped to either side of that front leg. Chin comes to chest. Softening over that front leg. And allow a bit more silence here now, which might be a bit more challenging. Allowing ourselves to sit with our own thoughts in the pose, the sensations maybe becoming a bit more intense. But enjoy just being still. Enjoy just being present. And I'll give you a minute warning before we come out of the pose. There's about a minute here until we come out. So as always, we have an option to go a bit deeper, we have an option to go a bit softer, or just to stay where we are. Once we've made that decision, we'll try and stick to that stillness, trying to commit to the pose for these last few moments. In just a moment we'll begin to come out of the pose. We can inhale to sit up slowly, using the hands to help prop ourselves up. Helping that left knee up with the left hand, come to the outside of the knee or the thigh, straightening through both legs. Having a shake, having a bounce through the legs. Allowing a bit of movement to let the blood flow come back to the joints, into the tissue. So we can just begin to come into a tabletop position by swinging those legs out to the sides or rolling over the feet. Just moving any props out to the side for now. From a tabletop position, we have a bit of a shake in those hips, have a bit of movement again. So in a moment we're going to come into frog pose. This is a deeper opening of the hips by bringing the knees a little bit wider than the hips. We can continue to widen them further if it's comfortable enough to sustain, but the pressure underneath the knee might be quite significant to some. So a bit of a tip, a bit of advice for myself is to roll the edge of the mat down, so we got the double thickness of the mat, and then the inside of the knee will be a bit more protected, allowing the feet to splay out to the sides, trying to draw the toes towards each knee. Feet are parallel with the ankle and the calf. Then on our hands, possibly on our elbows, we can come to a position where draped in front of the legs, the forehead could rest on a block or a brick if we need to have that extra support in the neck. Possibly coming down with the chest down towards the floor, head could rest on the top of the hands, stacked in the center. Trying to draw the hips lightly back to open through the hips. As I say, this does get quite intense. It's one that we want to be careful not to overdo it, but there's quite a bit of pressure on the knee, as I say. So if you have any knee injuries, being extra careful. If we need to come out early, then we can. We're going to be here for about 3 minutes in total, which we're already well into. But try to breathe through this one. That nice, slow and steady inhale and exhale through the nose. Not forcing things, with that tension hopefully dissipating every exhale that may be caused if we're tightening up through the intensity of the pose. Enjoy the depth, enjoy the opening, slow and steady through the hips. So it's about a minute left in frog pose. As I say, we can come out early if we need to. We could widen the gate of the hips here, allowing each knee to lightly go away from each other. Not forcing our way down, not forcing to progress deeper if we don't need it today. Find that contentment again with what we've achieved already. That contentment with where we are on the mat. Just by practicing, we're already succeeding, so we don't need to force anything more than that. So in just a moment we'll begin to come back up into a tabletop position. We can bring those hands back beneath the sides of the chest to push our torso up. I like to shuffle one knee in and then the other, slowly making my way back to a more comfortable position. Taking a second to rock those hips side to side. Likely feels quite intense, as you might be able to tell from my face. That was very intense. It's a really good way to open through the hips, so the benefit is there. That does just mean it's really useful to get a bit of rebound here, a bit of flow, allowing a couple of circles here and there before coming back into a seated position. And from that seated position, we can just have a bit of a shake of the legs side to side, letting the feet fall to the left, to the right. Trying to get some blood flow back into the hips. And we're going to make our way onto our backs, but we're going to want to move our bolster within reach, or our bricks if we're using those instead, so that we've got the tab of the bolster on the inside by the hips. As I say, we could use a blanket, we could use a pillow, we could use yoga bricks or books. If we prefer to use those, that's absolutely fine. Don't let the fact you haven't got a bolster stop you. A yoga block or a pillow could be useful beneath the head for some of us as well. If we lie back and aren't comfortable on the mat, that's something that we can do to really help soften the neck. And from there, we can allow ourselves, having assessed the neck, to get ready to place our bricks or our bolster beneath the hips. So bringing the feet by the glutes, we're going to want to push into those, activating the glutes, the core, in the thighs to lift the hips, sliding either the bolster or any other props that we may be using beneath the hips. Lowering down with care, try not to fall down. The option's there to extend both legs to straight, allowing the feet to fall out naturally. If we prefer to keep those feet in, that is also fine. Anywhere between bent and straight in the legs is great. There's no need to extend to the full capacity unless it feels right for you. Arms can drape out to the sides or stack on the belly if you prefer. Softening down, chin lightly towards the chest with or without a block beneath the head. Then once we've found that nice depth, that edge of the pose, that 80% mark I keep going on about, then we just need to soften and drape over that proper, very surrendering pose. This surrendering is really crucial again in Yin. Letting the body soften down into the mat, into any props you may be using. Every exhale is an opportunity to release tension. That could be at any point in the body. It could even be in the features of the face, where we often hold tension without realizing. So just trying to soften the jaw, in the lips, even the tongue, the cheeks, the eyes, the brow, the third eye, the forehead, and finally the crown of the head, where there might even be a light amount of tension there. Softening the fingers and the palm of the hand to relax throughout the hands there. Letting the shoulders gently fall, softening into the mat. And letting those hips release the legs to fall to the sides should that feel comfortable to you. Draping down, softening down for the next few minutes in our supported bridge here, no matter the height of the hips, enjoying the surrendering option. Just about a minute left here. Again, if we need to bring those feet back in to soften, if you want to extend them to intensify for this last minute, then feel free to. But once you made that decision, finding that stillness again, surrendering to the pose once more. And taking our time, we're beginning to come out of the pose. No matter which prop we may be on, we can bring those feet back in towards the hips, pushing into them, activating the glutes, lifting up the hips, sliding each prop and from under us. Having a second to hug those knees in towards the chest might feel good. Swaying side to side to lightly massage against the floor and the mat. Planting those feet down, bring them a bit wider than the hips. So we're now going to come to a variation of a reclined twist. So we may wish to have bricks to hand, having one on each side of the body. This is optional, but bringing those feet a bit wider than the hips, we'll just let those knees fall over to the left, fall over to the right, to windshield wiper. Having a couple of rounds here, arms out to the sides at 90 degrees, chin to chest again, possibly on a block. Then when those knees next fall over to the left, we'll keep them there, possibly with a brick underneath the left thigh or knee. And we could stay there. Alternatively, we could either bring the left ankle to the right thigh above the knee, or we could bring the legs to cross over the left calf going against the outside of the right thigh. And this is going to help draw that right leg down into internal rotation. It's going to be a deceptively deep stretch for a lot of us in the hip crease, in the outside of that right hip, as well as a bit of light twisting in the spine. We don't want to force this as always, we want to be as gentle as we feel is right for us here and now, but then just trying to relax down into the floor, into the mat. The gaze could go to the left, it could go to the right or stay in the centre, having the option no matter which way to twist, to adjust again should we need to as time prevails. So from there, we'll slowly begin to bring the gaze back to centre, and then come out of this variation of a twist. So we can just let that right hip get heavy to bring the glutes back to the floor, allow the knees to rise. From there, we can unhook the legs, doing a windshield wiper side to side. Just letting this slow flow occur where the legs are falling each side, nice and slowly. And then the next time they go over to the right hand side, we can let them stay there, acknowledging if we need the support of a brick, a book, a block, a blanket underneath that right thigh. Or if we want to deepen the stretch on that left leg, the left hip, we can bring that right ankle to the outside of that left thigh. Alternatively, cross the legs so that the back of that right knee is on the top of that left thigh, drawing that leg a bit deeper. The gaze again could go to the left, it could go to the right. It could stay in the centre, but not feeling the need to mirror what we did before. So if we were in a neutral position before, we could stay in a neutral position this time. But we could go to the left or the right. If we opposed the twist to the left last time, then we could go to the right this time. Alternatively, we could stay on the left. Do what feels right to you, relaxing those hands down to our sides, enjoying this nice slow opener of our hips. So as we're enjoying this twisting type motion, this opening of the hips predominantly, and a little bit in the lower back. We have the option as always to come up a bit early if we need. We've got just under a minute left. But don't feel you have to suffer in silence. If you've had enough, then it's fine to come up early. If not, we'll just enjoy these last few rounds of breath, slow and steady, in and out through the nose, before we come out of the pose. So in just a moment we'll begin to lift up out of the pose. You can let the gaze come back to center, let that left glute get heavy, bringing the legs back up, planting that right foot down, unhooking it from the left leg. Come back to the center of the mat and let those knees fall to the left and to the right, feet a bit wider than the hips. Just getting that mobility, that movement, that blood flow back into the hips here. Hug those knees in towards the chest, introduce that light sway like before, possibly accentuating the round of the spine with the chin coming up towards the knees, before lowering the head and the feet carefully down onto the floor to come into our Shavasana. So traditionally, as always, the legs can be extended as wide as the mat, letting the feet fall to the sides. We can have the arms draped out to the sides, similarly splayed like the legs. Or if we do have all the props to hand, we could go for a more restorative style. So the head could be supportive of a block. You could place a bolster or a rolled up blanket underneath the knees, draping over that prop. And then one that I quite like to do is to have the arms placed so that the back of the hand is resting slightly elevated. Again, this could be on a yoga brick, it could be on a yoga block, it could be on a pillow. Could be on anything that's elevating that hand a little bit. And that just means that the bicep at the front of the top arm there can just be that little bit more relaxed, in my opinion. And as a result, the shoulder as well, cradling the body that bit more. Chin can come to chest and we can close our eyes for these last few minutes today in this particular session. So make sure you don't skip this, enjoy the stillness for these last couple of minutes here together. So we're just coming up to the end of this session today. I'd just like to thank and appreciate the 85 people so far that have subscribed to the channel. I really do appreciate it a lot, so thank you very much for joining me on this journey in my online teaching. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's session, opening up through our hips. And if you wish to repeat this at any time, you could do this daily, once a week, whenever you feel the need to. So thank you very much again for joining me. If there's anything that you particularly like to do in the future classes that come from this channel, please comment below and I'll do my best to make sure that happens. Until then, all the best.